Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Vampire YGO here again with another deck profile. This time coming to you with a Ancient Warrior Tri-Brigade deck profile. I will be following this one with a Tri-Brigade Lyrilisk profile that I have also been using. Obviously, I feel like that is the better of the two. Even compared to the Zodiac, I feel like the Lyrilisk is just slightly better at the time, depending on whether the new support will tell, or if obviously the ban list happens and something like Broad Bull comes off the list, then I feel like the Zodiac would definitely take over at that point. But I do feel like the Lyrilisk is the better. The Ancient Warriors, though, is the more underestimated, and I still feel like it's good because you also catch the people off guard with the effects. Not a lot of people know what the Ancient Warrior deck core does. So let's start off with the profile. We have 3 of one of the most important cards, your normal summon, at least one can be one of the normal summons, the Masterful Sun Mao. Not all of the Ancient Warriors are cut and dry and have like very similar style effects. They're basically like the smaller ones like this one, the level 4s, and then you have the higher level ones, and they kind of each have different abilities. For Sun Mao, it has the effect of cannot be targeted for attacks from your opponent's cards. As long as you have another Ancient Warrior monster on the field, and then it has the other dual effects where you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, again mixing very well with the Tri-Brigade profile, and then you get to add a Ancient Warriors monster from your hand, or from your deck to your hand, and then it has the other ability, if your Ancient Warriors monster effect is activated, you can then essentially target one of your opponent's monsters and then return it to the hand. So it's kind of like a disruption, depending on if you're able to activate the effect during your opponent's turn, or if, it's definitely good for going second. And then, yeah, so this one's a 3 of just because it has the search ability. There's a good amount of cards that can search for Ancient Warrior. And then we have, this is one of the ones you'll usually search for if you don't already have it. The reason why you don't want to kind of see this in the opening hand is if it is searched for by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card, you can special summon it in defense position, and it has 2 abilities. It has the ability to, basically they're both negate, so this is one of the ones that you're going to want usually on your field of your end board, because it has the ability to basically do a double negate. It can quick effect, and you can send an Ancient Warrior, basically for either of them. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you can send a Ancient Warrior face-up spell or trap from the field to the graveyard, and then the spells and traps from the Ancient Warriors have effects when being sent to the graveyard, or you can use it to get rid of like your Tenki or something like that as well. Actually, sorry, it does have to be an Ancient Warrior spell or trap. I forget. There is other ones that do just say card, like previous, like Sun Mao. You can use your Tenki to get rid of. But yeah, Zukong is awesome, especially like I said, when you get it added to the hand, you get the special summon. And then you have 1 of the Ancient Warriors Virtuous Blue Swan, and then you have 2 of the Guan Yu. The Lu Jun is pretty good. I know a lot of people will argue that this one is a 3 of. I've kind of originally went that way, and then I know I started seeing some profiles using this at 1, and so I just kind of switched it up, and I definitely like it a lot more at that. I feel like it's still really good because it's also searchable, and then basically it's the same effect where it can't be attacked if you have another Ancient Warrior monster on the field, and then it has the effect of if your opponent controls more monsters than you could send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monsters from the deck. So if you can get him into the Sun Mao effect, into the Zukong, special summon Zukong. But yeah, it's usually pretty easy to get this one still. And then you have the Guan Yun, which is a good combo starter as well if you're going second, or if you have the field spell on board. You basically just get to special summon him and then proc the effect of the field spell, because the field spell is when you special summon or normal summon an Ancient Warrior monster to the field, it activates the effect. And then he's basically like the Pankratops of the deck, except the better part, he does not destroy himself, and he's got 25 attack, pretty strong. And then we'll go with the last 3. You have the newer Ancient Warrior monster, Lu Bu, or as they have him in here, the rebellious Lu Fang. I really just enjoy this deck in general, and really want to make a profile just because I was a huge fan of the Dynasty Warrior PlayStation game series. I played all the way up until, I would say, maybe I think Dynasty Warriors 8. Other than that, it's kind of when I quit, but I really liked it growing up with my brother and my next door neighbor. Played that game all the time. I would say 3 and 4 are still my favorites. But yeah, Lu Feng has the broken text, as you may have heard of. Some people have already talked about it a good amount. It has a dual effect where you can activate his effect during both main phases to destroy cards. The downside is you cannot activate effects except for Ancient Warriors if you do his, so just be wary of that. If you use another effect beforehand, you won't be able to use his during the opponent's turn, so you want to make sure you kind of get his going first. And then you have the Zhang Huan, which is basically like a hand trap a little bit. If you're in battle with a during the damage step with a Ancient Warriors monster, you can special summon him and gain that monster 1,000 attack. And then he also has the extra effective. If an opponent's card is destroyed while you have an Ancient Warriors monster in the field, you can destroy an extra card as well. So it's really good. He's just kind of an extra. You don't really want to see him opening because he's good for searching. This one you do not mind seeing open, and it also has the amazing ability to special summon it as long as you have an Ancient Warriors monster on the field, or at least control the highest attack. You can special summon this from your hand. So it's really easy to get out. And 28 attack, 22 defense, amazing effect. What else do you want in that one? People are saying that they were going to errata or fix it, but I highly doubt that they'll go with the effect. Like, Ancient Warriors aren't that broken. Already broken to begin with, I guess I should say. But onto the Tri-Brigade profile. Pretty standard. The other ratios are a little bit different. Besides Fractal, you obviously want 3 of. This is your pretty much combo starter for that. So you'll kind of usually go into the Ancient Warrior combo first, and then kind of wean in your Tri-Brigade. And then we got, let's see here, 2 Cuirass, and then we have the 2 Nerval. Cuirass, obviously, because you can, the special summon effect is still really great. Nerval, I had it 3, but I think I like 2 a little bit better because, again, it's so easy to search for some of these cards, and then, the effect goes off really well with some of the discarding abilities of the 2 other Ancient Warrior monsters. And then same with, obviously, you have the 1 kit. I do not run 2 or 3. 1 is perfectly fine. Obviously, in the other Tri-Brigade builds, you definitely want to run 2 or more, in my opinion. I still kind of stick with 2 when it comes to kit, but yeah, this is still a little different. 1 is perfectly fine. And then you have the 2 kind of offs for your Winged Beast. You have the Stormwinds, the Mist Valley, Apex, Avion. Your end board's pretty much going to look like the Double Dragon Lords. You're going to have the Lubu on the board, or Lu Feng, whatever you would like to call him, usually with a Stormwind and possibly, one other monster as well that you could possibly have. What do you want to call him? Zhukong, this guy right here. And that's pretty much like the goal for the end board. It's really kind of hard for an opponent to get to that if you do end up going first. So this is really good at going first and second. You can kind of go either way, kind of just gauge on what you want to go. Obviously, if you're going second and stuff, this deck can really abuse cards like Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler no more. But I do have the 3 hand traps. I don't run any other hand traps besides, I guess, the Guan Yu's and the other Ancient Warrior boost one. But I do run the 3 Drolls because I feel like, just at my locals, there's a lot of decks going around that just kind of have that, Droll just kind of covers a lot of decks that are going around this format. And then we have the spell lineup. We're going to have 3 of the continuous. This one's really good. It can just kind of basically keeps the combo going. Sorry, my phone popped up there. Basically, during the main phase, if you normally, like I said, special summon or special summon Ancient Warrior monster, you can target one of those monsters and you add a different Ancient Warrior monster with a different name to your hand. And then this one also has a secondary effect. If it's sent to the graveyard by the effect of a spell or trap card, sent to the graveyard from your Trauma Spat zone, you can special summon an Ancient Warrior monster from your hand. But yeah, 3 of, just because you get that search when you get the summon. So like I said, you have this, you don't really have anything. If you have the Guan Yu, you special summon that, or whichever one you normal summon, you're always going to get the add on top of it. And then we do run the 2 Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault. Works really well with this deck, in my opinion. It's definitely a way to get out whatever you kind of don't see at the time, or if your combo, if you only get like half of the cards in your hand that you need, it can brick a little bit compared to the other ones, but it's still fairly consistent. And there's definitely like draw cards you can add, like Prosperity and stuff like that, to make it more consistent. This is pretty much like the style I've been playing with, and again, I do not have Prosperities, but I wouldn't run Extravagance or Desires in this unless you take out the barrier statue. Then you Desires, I feel like, would work really well in this deck. Yeah, but we'll go with the, obvious 3 Tenki. It's pretty cool. I really like the Speed Duel secret rares. They came out really nice, just in general, the contrast and kind of like the detail compared to some of the other ones that I've seen or the versions of Tenki look really nice. But yeah, obvious 3 of any Beast Warrior deck. And you're going to kind of go with the 1 ofs. You have the 1 Foolish Burial, you have Tri-Brigade, come on, and then you have the Monster Reborn, because it just works with so many different things in this deck in general. That Prismatic is fire. And then we have the 3 Dark Ruler No More. It's kind of like the offset to, not having the other hand traps. It works extremely well in this deck. Going second is amazing, so it kind of doesn't matter if you lose the dice roll. It is fun going first, like I said, if you, don't get, or if you get the hand that you need to kind of, like I said, set up that kind of monster board, but this deck can get kind of shut down with hand traps, so you kind of prefer to go second. But yeah, 3 Dark Ruler No More. I feel like this card actually works well in probably 90% of the decks in the format right now with the way things are going. And then you kind of have your stoppage. You can run a Call by the Grave if you feel like you're going for it first is a little better, but this card is amazing going first or second, and again, it just kind of has done so much for me when it comes to winning games or just changing the tide of a game to put it in my favor just by that card alone. I still play the Dogmatica Shadal Invoke profile for my locals, and last week I used the tactics in almost every game, and it's ridiculous. Worth the money. But yeah, and then 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, just to kind of have something there just in case you come up like a Mystic Mine or Poltergeist like I came up against last week and smacked me, Eldritch, things like that. And then off to the extra deck. So I know some people would argue 2, 1, and I think in the Ancient Warriors Tri-Brigade profile, 3 is necessary because you can go through 2 just in your first turn alone. So I really like the 3 of, just in case, like I said, because the combo can allow you to actually end up with 1 to 2 just to kind of clear your board up, because this deck can kind of slightly look like it's overextending, and you kind of need to get like 1 thing off the board to kind of make exactly what you want to get that barrier statue at the end of the turn. But yeah, 3 in my opinion. Yeah, fire artwork, and then obviously it's a disruption by sending back. And then we go into the Tri-Brigade. You got the 1 Ferret. You got Silver Sheller, which I still feel like is pretty underrated. If your barrier statue gets taken care of and you have this on board, you just get to revive it right back, right after they destroy it. And say, oh, well, it's back. And then this is one of the things you could change. I have not needed at all to ever go into 2 in this. In the Zodiac profile and the Lyralist profile, I would stick with 2. But when it comes to the Ancient Warriors version, I've not ever had the capability of hardly going to 1 in my opinion in this deck, but it does happen. I mean, obviously it's freaking sure egg. It's an extremely broken Link. And then you kind of have, some of the more one-ofs, the Link Rebo and the Almirage. And then you have Conductor, you got Doom Eagle, and then you have the Bird of Sovereignty, Smorg. Like I said, you're pretty much going to go off, get set up kind of like your Ancient Warriors board, and then after that, you'll kind of start going Tri-Brigade, and end with Sovereignty, of course, get you whether, you want the Mist Valley or whether you want the Bear Statue. And then you just kind of have the 2 bigs. Apollosa is not difficult to make, with this. And then the access code talker is also extremely, because none of them lock you into, besides obviously the Tri-Brigade profile, into specifically not being able to special summon the access codes. They're locking you into like Ancient Warriors, which is good. And then you have the 1 Abyss Dweller, which is also fairly easy to get out in this profile as well. Another thing that you can end on, this plus like Bear Statue, or this plus double Dragon Lords, plus the other negate the Zukong. It's, they're pretty much scooping unless they have something to answer multiple of those. But yeah, that would be it for the extra deck. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate all of the likes, comments, subscribes, and the feedback. If you have any dislikes or any feedback or any advice, please let me know in the comment section. I would like to know why, if there is